The European Communist Action salutes the heroic Cuban people and the Communist Party of Cuba on the occasion of the 66th anniversary of the triumph of the Cuban Revolution, the first socialist revolution in the Americas, which is an inspiration and shining example for the working peoples of the world that through their struggle, they have the power to overthrow capitalist barbarity. Since the overthrow of the Batista tyranny, the route taken by Cuban revolutionaries has not been an easy one. They stood up against imperialism, repelled invasions, survived imperialist interventions, and resisted the criminal, economic, and commercial blockade imposed by the United States for more than 60 years. The determined and long-standing resistance of the Cuban people is a response to the barbaric aggression against Cuba, with the inclusion of the country in the U.S. unacceptable and arbitrary list of states sponsoring terrorism, among others. Despite the imperialist efforts to suffocate the island, the firm decision that the Cuban people have made with the revolution and the course of socialist construction have led them to achievements in important aspects of their lives, including health, education, science, culture, and sports. Despite limited resources, Cuba has not hesitated to extend its fraternal hand and put its medical and educational achievements at the service of peoples as an example of internationalism. Loyal to the historical legacy of Fidel, the Communist Party of Cuba is today faced with serious adversities. The European Communist Action firmly stands with the Cuban people and the Communist Party of Cuba, and, like the overwhelming majority of the peoples of the world, calls for the intensification of the struggle for the unconditional lifting of the barbaric U.S. blockade and inclusion of the country in the arbitrary list of states sponsoring terrorism. The European Communist Action strongly rejects any subversive plans and manipulative social network and the mass media campaigns that are aimed at intervening in Cuba's internal affairs, destabilizing its political system and undermining its sovereignty. The European Communist Action declares its determination to further strengthen the bonds of solidarity with Cuba and the Cuban Revolution, the experience of which can and should be utilized to defend history and the contribution of the communist movement, to strengthen proletarian internationalism and the struggle for socialism. On its 66th anniversary, long live the Cuban Revolution.